Okay, Trans Am fans, this is it. We are getting to the nitty-gritty of our first ever in the history for 54 years of Trans Am, of our first ever E-Trans Am Championship. We have one more round to go. It will be at the famous Silverstone, where Grand Prix racing was born, and Trans Am's never been. So this is really, really interesting. Very tough Grand Prix circuit, and the championship is on the line as it's been literally from the get-go. We started off behind me at Laguna Seca, and we've been going hard and fast ever since, and we have just 3 points between Tyler Kicera and Josh Hurley. Josh Hurley's with me now. Josh, what a long journey this has been. It's been a lot. It started as a bit of fun, but it turned out to be a really tough championship.
Yeah, I was surprised with the level of it, especially of Tyler. I mean, I knew someone was going to step up. I didn't necessarily know it was going to be him, other than he made that very clear by the end of the first weekend. And it's amazing when it comes down to 3 points, it's really all about the bonus points, actually. A lot of people don't know. Like, I push extra hard in the race when I'm leading or something like that to get to the halfway, because I'm not sure if anyone knows this, but for leading the most laps, you get 2 bonus points. Well, you do that twice, and that would make up the whole points gap. In fact, that's some of the difference right now was Daytona. Tyler got to lead a whole race. And that was it. I was just trying to get up there and hoping somebody would take the lead from him to take that most laps led, because things like that or pole positions are really making the difference right now. And we can see that being the decider in this weekend upcoming.
And it's interesting because you haven't necessarily gone wheel to wheel with each other every round, and there's always been some other factor. But that's what's actually made it more intriguing, is because you've won the same amount of races pretty much, but you've both been very consistent, especially in the reverse grids, which is what's impressed me, is that you've managed to deal with traffic and stay out of trouble.
Yeah, I think it's a little tiny bit of reverse that I think I've had a better if you took it all out. The first round, I've had a little bit better of a go. I've had more royal flushes where, I've gotten pole, won the race, led the most laps, and got it all than he has. He's had a little bit better luck, and maybe he's done a better job, possibly. Haven't analyzed it in race 2. I've had some fights with some guests, so that's hurt me on the reverse grid a little more than it's hurt him. But as you can see, it's clearly balanced out quite well. So we may have a little bit of an edge for this weekend in that category, hopefully.
Well, let's talk about going into Silverstone, because, as you say, you've had some troubles. He's had some troubles. You got into an incident both at Barcelona, and where was the other one?
And I got one at Spa.
Spa, yeah, that's right. Another guest driver getting involved there, but and then Tyler now has got involved with a penalty coming into this round, so he'll have a weight penalty. So you've each got something to deal with.
And I've had a weight penalty, so it's really tit for tat right now, which is great. That's what we wanted. Not that I wanted him to get a weight penalty, but I'll take it. Though I did stick up for him over it. But it should be really interesting. His weight penalty, in case the fans out there don't know, should be really balanced out, because I'm gone. I'll be coaching one of our other drivers who's in our series in his Formula car, as well as a second Formula car, at the Pittsburgh Raceway this weekend. So during one of their practice sessions, or maybe one of the race sessions, I have to leave them to go use Pittsburgh Raceway sim, which I've never seen. I'm hoping functions and hoping has internet, because all they've told me is they've given permission for me to use it. So I'm bringing my VR headset. I might bring a set of pedals if I can fit them in my bag, and then see what happens.
Well, I tell you what, dude, get on Discord with JP Southern, because he's sponsored by that circuit.
Yeah.
So he'll probably be able to give you an insight into what that sim's all about. But let me go back a bit. You stood up for Tyler? Why? How did you help him out?
Well, he's raced me very fair. The few times we have been wheel to wheel, which has been 2 or 3. We were very wheel to wheel in Atlanta, very wheel to wheel in Spa, and very wheel to wheel at Daytona. Everyone remembers that one. And they've all been very fair, and I was behind him for what I thought he got the penalty for something else, it turned out. And I didn't think he did anything that he deserved a penalty for. And I don't want to win a race or win a championship. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll take the prize money or any way it comes, but I think we've had pretty big respect for each other, and if he didn't deserve it, I said so. But it was for another incident, which I didn't see, so I'm not going to call any judgment on that. But
yeah, And just so we're not too cryptic, I analysed it quite a lot, and the bottom line was you had a car in front of Tyler, but you were chasing Tyler, and the car in front was definitely not as quick as either of you, and he had a gap, but you were closing that gap, and he was trying desperately to get past. Eventually, I think he got frustrated, and the door was closed. It led to an accident involving two cars, including Tyler, but Tyler got through. But it was sort of make or break because you were coming and you were coming fast, and so I think he had to make some sort of move to try to hold you off.
Exactly, and even the move he made, I didn't feel was particularly egregious, and I guess the officials didn't either because it was penalized for something else which I didn't witness. And also, I'm also an FIA steward. I think I'm the only driver with an FIA steward's license. So I have a little bit of an opinion on this matter. I've actually been the steward for a big series this year for a couple of rounds, the driver steward. So I kind of know what I'm doing there.
I keep being amazed at how many different things. You've got the dirt car behind you. You're an FIA steward. Now I want to talk about Kent Vaccaro because your opponent in the E-Trans Am Championship is a guy called Kent Vaccaro, and you are engineering his FF3 America's car.
Coach is primary, engineer secondary.
All right, fair enough. But tell me about that and how you met and chose to work with each other.
Yeah, actually, we were introduced by a joint friend, Guy Cosmo. If any of you know Guy Cosmo, another fantastic racing driver. Guy Cosmo knew Kent's team owner, and I've known Guy since I was a kid in go-karts. And Guy wasn't able to provide the engineering service, but could provide coaching, but they really needed an all-in-one solution. So the team owner called me and brought me to a track in Texas where they said, hey, this is a one-day thing. Let's just see, or two-day thing. Let's just see how you guys get along. And by the end of the weekend, it became, okay, so we need to hire you and you need to engineer and coach him. And we've been together ever since. That was that was his second year in F4 where I came in, which was a good time because there were some things we had to work on with Kent to improve his driving, which his superpower is the kid can learn anything. It's kind of amazing. He even learns vague skills. When I tell him, like, be ahead of the car, meaning in a very specific way, he interprets it and just does it. Like there was a corner at Pitt, actually, where because the topography of the land is, the car can be balanced everywhere else. But if you drive through it normally, you get big oversteer when the front wheels hit the hill. So we talked about it. Well, what end hits the hill? Can't the front? So when that front gets grip, what's the rear going to do? What's going to come out? So correct it before it does. Oh, okay. And then he does it from lap one. So that's his little superpowers that he's able to learn very, very quickly. And before that, the car definitely had some issues. The team had some engineering direction that wasn't so good. So he didn't really get people who judged him on that first year of F4 didn't really give him a fair break. And by the end of the year, we qualified on pole a couple at a race. We started running up front and started doing it all over again with the F3, which has been great. And I was his coach for his first Trans Am race in the TA2. I was there with Blaze and BC Racing coaching Kent. So I've been there for a lot of his career, and it's really fun to work with. It's kind of become a little bit of, I think, a big brother, little brother relationship, which I don't think he would deny, which has been a lot of fun, keeps me even younger feeling. The family's great, and it's so nice. Not going to lie, I can do some testing in the Formula car myself because I can pedal a race car pretty well. And not going to lie, I love that part of it too. So it's kind of a really fun gig. Keeps me around the junior Formula, keeps me young again, around fun cars. And it's fun I've coached a lot of gents, which I still do and still love. But it's a lot more fun to coach somebody who's really getting there and really getting quick and just working on the nitty-gritty stuff instead of the, hey, do this so you don't crash. We're just working on getting the last couple tenths, which is a lot more interesting.
Well, listen, I spoke to him and I said, he's a great kid. He's graduated high school. He's got his head in the right place. He's off to Purdue. He knows where he wants to be. And he was like, I want to be on the grid at the 500 and I want to take on Alonso. And I was like, I like your style. But in all fairness, coach, is this the real deal? Has he got what it takes, do you think?
Especially on the ovals, I'm going to say he almost definitely will. His driving style really will suit an open wheel car and an oval particularly. I wish it was a little bit bigger part of our championship. He has proven he can learn anything. He still has some stuff he has to prove. He still has to do the job for a full season. We can both pinpoint a few races where he has done the job. His debut in F3 last year at Barber, we finished second or third. And fantastic job the whole weekend. I think we would have won the race. He would have qualified on pole, but the red flag came out as he was rounding the last corner. And for that series, as soon as the red comes out, qualifying laps don't count. So even though we did the lap time, it got pulled away. So he's proven he can do the job. Atlanta, he led the whole race, but the front wing broke. He's proven he can do the job, but he's done the job for 1 or 2 races, and then he falls off a little big. And then he does it for another 1 or 2 races, and then he falls off a little big. So really, we need the right Kent for the whole season. But I'm super excited to see him eventually, hopefully sometime soon, maybe get an open wheel car in an oval, because his driving style, I wish the IRL were still around. If it were still the IRL, I'd tell him forget this right turning stuff, because he has some unique techniques that are very reminiscent of like a Sam Hornish in a good way. Which, if that environment was around, I think he'd really thrive. So it's going to be interesting to see how he figures it out. Not to say that he's a bad road racer. He isn't. And he on his day, he's right there. I mean, we out-qualified Dakota, and Dakota dominated the series. He's right there, just not quite consistent on the road course side yet. And I think he'll be even better on the oval side. So we'll have to see. It's interesting, too. He also seems to – like jumping in a Trans Am car, I'd say he was better on day 1 than day 2, which is a little interesting. He adapts really quick, and then he just has to figure out how to keep the consistency up, which is something we're going to work on this year a little bit. So we'll see. It's really hard to pinpoint who's going to make it, because unfortunately, as we know in this industry too, it's not all talent. And with the current economic environment that we're about to go through, who knows what's the right place? So that's the whole other ball of wax. He has to navigate and figure out his own spot and find sponsors, which I am obviously not the right guy to deal with. Everyone's noticed that my car is a blank livery. So definitely my weakness. I'm better on the engineering and driving side than on the marketing side, unfortunately, even though I speak okay.
Well, listen, I tell you what, your enthusiasm, I get accused of being way too enthusiastic, but it's electric, your enthusiasm. It's captivating. We need to get you out of the garage and get you out of the house. But I know, because I know the car behind you has been in action, because straight after the E-race last weekend, you went straight out and raced. How do you get on?
First time in the car in 7 months. Mind you, everyone else has been racing weekly the past few weeks. We qualified 9th out of 37, so that was okay, considering, for those of you new to dirt tracks, practice is 2 laps.
Yeah.
So in 7 months, I did 2 laps, and laps are 11 seconds. So with 22 seconds of practice, we qualified 9th, not so bad, which is also 2 laps. Heat race went really well, moved up a spot until I hopped the cushion, got the spot back, we touched wheels, went a little airborne, car's fine. Then we lined up for the main. I think we were starting 9th, which sounds good. And again, I hadn't driven in a while. Each lap, I was still getting better. And we broke on the pace lap of the main. So maybe if this laptop camera is good enough, we can see it. I don't think it's going to be, it's going to be too dark.
Oh, well.
We have a little part that where the gears, there's a little hub that the gear bolts to. And one of the areas where the bolts do, the metal completely failed and flaked away. So the gear just came off on the last pace lap. So I think in the main we would have gone forward, because each session we were doing was better and better. But racing.
Well, listen, Josh, we're looking forward to this head-to-head, and it may not just be a 2-way race. The others are getting quicker. Ryquist, Ernie, Merrill, they're all up there. Racino, I've spoken to him. He's ready for a podium. It's really quite interesting. You're going to Silverstone, which is where Fangio, Hamilton, Prost, Senna, they've all won there. And now it's Hurley versus Kicera. Go on.
But just thinking, we've had 2 European rounds, right?
Yep.
Who's been on the pole for both of those rounds?
Don't know. Can't remember his name. Was it Vaccaro?
Maybe, or maybe this guy.
Yeah, so that guy. I've heard of him.
I was looking forward to Lime Rock, but the Euro rounds have gone well. Granted, Tyler did beat me at Spa, so.
Well, we're going to see. We're going to see how good you are. You were fed up the other night because you've been up with your old dog, and I hope he's okay. But I know you've been looking after him, and now we're going to put you on a spare sim at Pittsburgh. So that's another tough one.
And do I practice or not is the question now. Because do I practice and get used to it with my pedals and the way it feels?
I think you've got to do a few laps of Silverstone just to get your head around getting out of Beckett's and getting onto Stowe. Right.
I like Maggots, Beckett's, and Stowe and Cups a lot. So that's one thing I'm worried when I change pedals.
Yeah.
My first test for the new pedals was right after Spa was when I got my new pedals.
Right.
So the next day, on Monday after Spa, I installed the new pedals and drove Spa. And I was a touch slower because the change took me like 2 or 3 days to get fully used to. So that's what I'm scared of. If I go practice now, do those 2 or 3 tenths go away? So I'm a little on the fence.
Fair enough.
Do I just try to practice when I get there? Will I be able to? Will it work? Who knows?
Well, listen, I'm going to ask Tyler the same question about the secret to your success, and I've been joking about it in commentary, but I think it's the tiny tiger that you have in the car, and I've seen him on several of the driving meetings, that is actually making sure you have no fear. And it's clear from this interview, you have no fear. So is it the tiger? Is that the key to your success?
Well, I hope not, because she won't be there.
Good point.
So I really hope not, but I think the key's really been slot car racing.
Well, take a picture of her. Take a picture of her and put her in the back.
There we go. Yeah, I think the real key's been slot car racing, really. People really, that's been the key for my whole, even my car career, and people really underestimate what those little 1/24 scale things bring.
Well, you made an interesting comment about the slot cars, it has a relationship to netcode, which is one of the problems you have in sim racing, is that the two cars can't be so close. But you saying your spatial awareness from slot car racing, where you're not in the car, actually helps you.
Yeah, exactly. And feel too, because you as weird as it is, you watch a bunch of slot car racers with their low triggers. If the car gets loose, you'll see them twitch because you're able to mentally put yourself in it. And it's the same sort of thing, and allows you, even slot cars, some of the tracks are parts of the tracks are completely blind, meaning you don't see your car and you're not in it, and you still have to drive it fast. So you're really able to kind of mental image yourself a little bit better. So that helps a lot in the sim world. So I think that if there's a secret to the success, it's definitely comes from that, and even helps in the real cars too. So thanks, Mom and Dad, for finding that for me. That's all them.
Well, listen, Josh, we'll let you get back because practice is about to start, and I know you want to do a few laps, I'm sure, even if it's in your own sim, and then you won't be doing the race. But let's get the plan. You're at Pittsburgh. You're going to be on a sim that you've never raced, and you've got a race for the title. You're 3 points behind. What's the plan?
Pole is the plan, because pole is 3 points right there. If Tyler, with weight, I don't think he's going to qualify on pole, because at Riverside, I did the back-to-back. It was 7/10 a lap. So I don't think he's going to be 7/10 a lap faster than a couple of us. So if Tyler qualifies fourth and I qualify first, gaps erased.
Gotcha.
So the real goal is pole, lead the most laps. That's 5 bonus points, even if you finish as second. And then it's finish 1 spot behind him in the reverse grid.
Well, evidence
is what happened this time instead of 2.
Well, evidently, I've heard that not only is the Trigon Trophy up for grabs, but because we're now going to Silverstone and not Lime Rock, John Claggett has said that he's going to take the top winner for a tour of the Scottish Highlands and the whiskey tour.
There we go. I love that.
There you go.
We can probably arrange it when my wife's over in the UK for work sometime, so
Perfect.
maybe we can figure that out.
Perfect. I can't say in this virtual world. I just love the fact that we can do whatever we want.
Exactly. Now, just hopefully we can translate some of this virtual world into the real car and hopefully get into a couple TA2 races. If not this year, maybe next year. We're working on it.
I was going to say, what is the real world plan for you?
You never know with me, because unfortunately I usually expect checks to come in, not out, for driving race cars, which is very difficult in the best of times. And with the things the way they are right now, that hurts a little bit. That said, we're still working on a few potential sponsorship stuff. So hopefully that could put us in a TA2 car. Maybe if we win this prize package, if this prize package could maybe help us get 1 race. Be a good story, John. Come on. Just need an entry fee and tires. Really good story.
I love the sales. I love the sales pitch. Keep going.
Hey, we need it. But we're really close with a couple teams. I'll still be testing. I've actually done a lot of testing in the Mackley's car before the pandemic kicked in. I think I did the fastest lap a TA car has ever gone around VIR, just not an event during this winter. Right. So hopefully we'll get to bring that thing out, because it is amazing. So hopefully maybe I'll get to play in that for a round, or at the very least, maybe Jim will come out for a round or 2. And then lots of coaching, lots of engineering, and you never know where that leads. And maybe there might be an endurance race that sim racing may have led to an endurance seat for me and something else, which I can't talk about yet, which stinks. And then there'll be plenty of dirt car racing, hopefully when I'm home. Unfortunately, I'm quarantining myself every time I travel because I don't want to get everyone sick. And, the plane ride is where you're going to get sick. So unfortunately, each time I come home, I have 14 days of no dirt car racing. So
not easy. Well, listen, best of luck. May the best man win. We've been so entertained by both of you. You put on some very clean, very fast racing. And like you say, it's been very fair between you and Tyler. And I think both of you deserve almost to share the Trigon Trophy each. But somebody's going to win. And like I said.
That reminds me. Do you know what the tiebreakers are? Because I don't know what the tiebreakers are for equal in points.
Well, I'll find that out because obviously I don't want to get to the checkered flag and not know. So I'll call Claggett up and find out.
And it scares me a little bit in the reverse grid. If it's the highest finish in the race, I think the reverse grid's not fair. I'm just going to say if we tie, I think we should split it.
There you go.
Just putting it out there, John.
Well, I think the way you guys are driving, you should form a team and go and do the virtual Le Mans.
I've definitely been trying to find a way to see if we can figure out a way to do an endurance race together because I think it'd be a pretty interesting pairing, both either virtual or real.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can make that happen. And I started talking to him about dirt today. I think he may go try to talk to his uncle. I think has a dirt car. He lives in Pennsylvania. He has to go give that a shot.
Well, that's the other head-to-head. He grew up doing asphalt racing. You grew up doing dirt racing. So
I grew up doing asphalt. I just started.
You just started doing dirt. Okay.
Yeah. I waited way too. I didn't know it existed. Well, I knew it existed, but there was none in South Florida, which is where I'm originally from.
Right.
So I started racing against, Juan Montoya, Juan's brother, Federico. So I come from all these young Formula car kids. That feels like home. I'm used to this aggression racing. I'm used to racing against Brazilians, Colombians. That feels more like home. So this is just a new project and maybe a new side career. It's me. It starts as a hobby, but I'm already trying to think how I can get in the World of Outlaw car.
Good, man. Oh, wow. That would be the real deal. Yeah.
We're trying.
Well, listen, Josh, thank you so much for talking to us. Stay as excited as you always are and enthusiastic. Best of luck this weekend. I'll be watching and talking. And may you and the cat do the best you can.
We'll give it a go. Thank you.